Imagine you have a toy shop. One day, someone walks in and says, "Hey, I invented the coolest toy ever. Do you want to sell it?" You look at it, laugh, and say, "That's stupid. Nobody will buy this." 5 years later, that toy becomes the most popular toy in the entire world, and you are still selling plastic dinosaurs for $2. Sounds crazy, right? Well, some of the biggest companies in history made mistakes exactly like this. And today, we're going to talk about the worst business decisions ever made, explained like you're five. Big companies don't usually fail because they're stupid. They fail because they become too comfortable, too confident, or sometimes too scared to change. Let's start with a company that destroyed itself from the inside. Schlitz destroys its own beer. In the 1960s, Schlitz was one of the most popular beer brands in the United States. It was competing directly with giants like Budweiser and Miller, and for a while, it was winning. Schlitz had strong sales, loyal customers, and a reputation for good quality beer. But success made Schlitz executives hungry for faster growth. They wanted to produce more beer, faster, and cheaper. So they made several risky decisions. They shortened the brewing time, which is normally a slow and careful process. They replaced some natural ingredients with cheaper alternatives. They also changed quality control processes to speed up production. At first, everything looked successful. Production increased and profits improved. But customers quickly noticed the difference. The taste changed. Some bottles developed strange textures. Others became cloudy or spoiled faster than before. Beer drinkers are extremely loyal to taste. Once customers lose trust, it's very difficult to win them back. Within a few years, Schlitz lost its reputation. Bars stopped stocking it. Customers switched brands. Sales collapsed rapidly. Schlitz went from being one of America's top beer companies to nearly disappearing, all because they tried to grow too fast and sacrificed quality. Our next story shows that sometimes companies fail because they try to change something they don't fully understand. Quaker Oats buys Snapple and ruins it. In 1994, Quaker Oats purchased Snapple for $1.7 billion. Snapple succeeded because it built strong connections with customers through local stores and personal marketing. Quaker attempted to expand Snapple using large supermarket distribution networks. This change removed the brand's unique identity and loyal customer base. Sales collapsed quickly, and Quaker sold Snapple for only $300 million 3 years later. One of the worst corporate acquisitions ever. Sometimes companies don't ruin quality. Sometimes they simply reject greatness before they recognize it. Decca Records rejects the Beatles. In 1962, four young musicians auditioned for Decca Records in London. They were nervous but excited. Music labels controlled the industry, and getting signed could change their lives forever. Their band was called the Beatles. During the audition, they performed multiple songs and showed their energetic style. But music trends at that time were changing quickly, and many executives believed rock bands were just a temporary trend. After reviewing the audition, Decca executives made their decision. They said, "Guitar bands are going out of style." They rejected the Beatles and instead signed another band that they believed was safer. Shortly after, the Beatles signed with another record company. Their popularity exploded across the United Kingdom, then Europe, and eventually the entire world. Beatlemania became a global cultural movement. Their music influenced generations and transformed the entertainment industry. Today, the Beatles are considered one of the most successful bands in history, while Decca became famous for missing one of the greatest opportunities ever. But sometimes companies don't reject something new. Sometimes they destroy something that already works perfectly. Coca-Cola replaces its own drink. By the 1980s, Coca-Cola wasn't just a beverage. It was a global symbol. Families grew up drinking it. It was associated with happiness, celebrations, and nostalgia. However, Pepsi began gaining popularity, especially among younger consumers. Pepsi launched aggressive marketing campaigns and blind taste tests showing that some customers preferred Pepsi's sweeter flavor. Coca-Cola executives feared losing market dominance. They decided to create a new formula that tested better in taste comparisons. They launched New Coke and completely replaced the original recipe. Customers reacted emotionally. People felt Coca-Cola had taken away something personal and nostalgic. Thousands of complaint letters and phone calls flooded company headquarters. Some customers even started hoarding old Coke bottles before they disappeared. Sales dropped, and public backlash increased rapidly. After only 79 days, Coca-Cola reversed its decision and reintroduced the original formula as Coca-Cola Classic. While the company eventually recovered, New Coke remains one of the most famous examples of ignoring customer loyalty and emotional connection. Now let's talk about a mistake involving technology and competition. A battle where the better product didn't win. Sony loses the VHS war. In the 1970s, Sony introduced Betamax, one of the first home video recording systems. Betamax offered excellent picture quality and advanced technology. However, Sony controlled Betamax very tightly. They limited which companies could manufacture Betamax players, which kept prices high and availability limited. Meanwhile, competitors developed VHS technology. VHS wasn't as high quality, but it had one huge advantage: accessibility. Multiple manufacturers produced VHS players, making them cheaper and more widely available. Movie studios also preferred VHS because it reached more customers. Consumers chose convenience and affordability over technical superiority. Eventually, VHS became the global standard, and Betamax disappeared from the market. Sony learned a costly lesson that better technology doesn't always guarantee success. Now here's a company that believed its design was too important to change. BlackBerry laughs at touchscreens. BlackBerry phones were once essential tools for business professionals. Their physical keyboards allowed fast and accurate typing, especially for emails. When Apple introduced the touchscreen iPhone, BlackBerry executives believed serious users would never abandon keyboards. However, customers loved touchscreen convenience, entertainment apps, and internet browsing. Touchscreens quickly became industry standard, and BlackBerry lost its market leadership. But ignoring smartphones wasn't just Nokia's mistake. Microsoft misses the mobile revolution. Microsoft dominated personal computers through Windows software. They controlled office productivity and computer operating systems worldwide. When smartphones became popular, Microsoft launched Windows Phone. However, they entered the market late and struggled to attract developers. Without strong app support, customers preferred Apple and Android devices. Microsoft eventually shut down Windows Phone, missing one of the largest technology shifts in modern history. Sometimes companies don't ignore innovation. Sometimes they reject buying it when they have the chance. Yahoo rejects buying Google. Before Google dominated the internet, Yahoo controlled search, email, news, and online services. Google's founders once offered to sell their company to Yahoo for just $1 million. Yahoo declined, believing they could build similar technology. Google later offered again for $5 billion, and Yahoo rejected it again. Google continued growing and eventually became one of the most valuable companies in history, while Yahoo lost its market leadership. Ignoring the future didn't just hurt movie stores, it also destroyed one of the biggest phone companies ever. Nokia ignores smartphones. Nokia dominated the mobile phone market during the early 2000s. Their phones were known for durability, long battery life, and reliability. When Apple launched the iPhone in 2007, it introduced a completely new concept of smartphones focused on touchscreens, apps, and internet connectivity. Nokia believed customers preferred physical buttons and simple designs. They underestimated how quickly smartphone technology would evolve. As Apple and Android companies improved their devices and app ecosystems, customers shifted rapidly toward smartphones. Nokia reacted slowly and lost global leadership position within a few years. Now we move into the last of this list, but one of the most famous business mistakes ever. Blockbuster laughs at Netflix. Blockbuster dominated movie rentals during the 1990s. Their stores were everywhere, and millions of families visited them every weekend. Blockbuster made large profits not only from rentals, but also from late fees when customers returned movies late. In 2000, Netflix approached Blockbuster with an offer to sell its company for $50 million. Netflix was experimenting with mailing DVDs and exploring online streaming. Blockbuster executives believed customers enjoyed visiting stores and didn't take streaming seriously. They rejected Netflix and continued focusing on physical rental locations. Over time, internet speeds improved and streaming became easier. Customers loved watching movies without leaving home or paying late fees. Netflix grew rapidly and expanded into original content. Blockbuster struggled with declining store visits and eventually filed for bankruptcy. Right now, some company is probably ignoring an idea that will destroy them in the future. The next Netflix, the next iPhone. The next Google is probably being laughed at somewhere, and history shows that laugh rarely ages well.